I've always found comfort in the quiet hum of routine, especially on nights like this when the world seems to hold its breath. My job at the small, family-owned laundromat on the edge of town isn't glamorous, but it's steady. It's just me most evenings, tending to the machines, folding stray towels left behind by customers, and listening to the rhythmic churn of the washers. The laundromat sits on a lonely stretch of road, flanked by empty lots and a sagging strip of woods that look blacker than they should under the sodium glow of the streetlights. It's not a place most people linger, but I've grown used to the solitude. At least, I thought I had. It's a Tuesday night nearing 10 p.m., and I'm wiping down the counters with a rag that smells faintly of bleach. The air is thick with the familiar scent of detergent and damp fabric, a scent that's become a second skin to me after 3 years here. The fluorescent lights buzz overhead, casting a sterile sheen over the rows of machines, most of them silent now that the last customer has left. Outside, the wind picks up, rattling the glass door in its frame, and I glance out into the dark. The parking lot is empty, save for my beat-up hatchback parked under the single flickering lamp. Nothing unusual, just another night. I finish with the counter and move to the back corner to check on a dryer that's been acting up. As I kneel to inspect the vent, a faint sound catches my ear. A soft, almost melodic hum, like someone singing under their breath. I pause, tilting my head. It's not coming from the machines. They're too mechanical, too predictable. This sound is human, but distant, as if it's seeping through the walls. I stand, brushing my hands on my jeans, and listen harder. The hum stops as abruptly as it started, leaving only the hum of the dryer and the distant howl of the wind. I shake my head, chuckling to myself. Probably just my imagination, or maybe the radio in the office, bleeding through the thin walls. I've been alone too long tonight. But as I turn back to the dryer, I notice something odd. The small, round window on the machine is fogged up, not from heat or moisture, but as if someone breathed on it from the inside. I frown, wiping at the glass with my sleeve. It clears, revealing nothing but tumbling clothes. Still, a prickle of unease creeps up my spine. I tell myself it's nothing, just condensation, a trick of the light. But my eyes dart around the room anyway, scanning the empty rows of washers and the shadowed corners where the light doesn't quite reach. I decide to distract myself by emptying the lint traps, a mindless task that usually calms me. As I pull out the fluffy gray mess from one of the dryers, I notice a small, tarnished coin caught in the mesh. It's not a quarter or a dime, too old, too worn, with strange, spiraling etchings on its surface that don't resemble any currency I've ever seen. I turn it over in my palm, the metal cold against my skin. It feels heavier than it should, almost like it's pulling at me. I laugh under my breath, probably some kid's toy or a trinket someone dropped. Without much thought, I slip it into my pocket, figuring I'll toss it in the lost and found box later. That's when I hear it again, the humming. Louder this time, closer, as if it's just behind me. I spin around, my heart kicking up a notch, but there's nothing there. Just the same empty laundromat, the same flickering lights. The sound fades once more, leaving a hollow silence in its wake. My rational mind scrambles for an explanation. Maybe it's the wind, or a pipe, rattling in the old building. But deep down, I know it's not. There's a weight to the air now, a feeling I can't name, like the moment before a storm breaks. I shake it off and head to the office to grab a soda from the mini fridge, hoping the caffeine will steady my nerves. The office is a cramped, windowless room at the back, cluttered with paperwork and spare parts. As I pop the tab on the can, I notice the small mirror hanging on the wall, something the owner put up for no reason I can fathom. My reflection stares back, pale and tired, but for a split second I swear I see something move behind me in the glass. A shadow, too tall, too thin, with limbs that don't bend right. I whip around, nearly dropping the soda, but the room is empty. My pulse hammers in my ears. Just a trick of the mind, I tell myself. A product of too many late nights and cheap horror movies. but my hands are trembling as I set the can down. I return to the main room, trying to focus on the closing checklist. Sweep the floors, lock the cash drawer, check the machines one last time. But the air feels heavier now, oppressive, like I'm moving through water. The smell of detergent is still there, but it's undercut by something else. Something faint and sour, like damp earth or rotting leaves. I can't place it, but it makes my stomach turn. I glance at the glass door again, half expecting to see someone standing in the parking lot, watching. There's nothing but darkness, yet I can't shake the feeling of eyes on me, boring into the back of my skull. I decide to speed through the last of my tasks, eager to lock up and get home. As I sweep near the row of folding tables, I hear a soft clink from my pocket, the coin. I pull it out, studying it under the light. The etchings seem deeper now, almost like they're shifting, curling into shapes that remind me of old runes or symbols from forgotten books. A memory flickers, something my grandmother used to say about things better left buried, warnings tied to the land around here, stories of settlers who vanished into the woods and never came back. I scoff at myself. Superstition, nothing more. Still, I can't bring myself to put the coin back in my pocket. Instead, I set it on the counter, near the lost and found box, as if distancing myself from it will ease the growing knot in my chest. That's when the lights flicker. Not just a quick stutter, but a slow, deliberate dimming, like someone's turning a dial. The hum of the machines falters, replaced by a low, resonant drone that vibrates in my bones. I freeze, broom in hand, my breath shallow. The temperature drops, sharp and sudden, my exhaled breath visible in the air. The humming returns, no longer distant but all around me, weaving through the air like a chorus of whispers, too many voices to count. They're not singing anymore. They're murmuring, pleading, or maybe warning, the words just out of reach. I force myself to move, to rationalize. A power surge, a draft from the old vents. But my instincts scream otherwise. Something is here. Something I can't see but can feel. A presence that presses against the edges of my awareness. I glance at the coin on the counter, and for a moment, I swear it trembles, as if alive. My hand hovers over it, torn between tossing it away and keeping it close, like it's a tether to whatever's happening. I don't know why, but I feel like picking it up again was a mistake. A key turned in a lock I can't close. The lights dim further, plunging the laundromat into near darkness. The shadows stretch, pooling in corners and under machines, too deep, too solid. And then I see it, a shape in the reflection of the glass door. Not outside, but inside, behind me. It's not human, not entirely. Too tall, too gaunt, its edges blurring into the dark like smoke. I don't turn around. I can't. My body locks up, every muscle screaming to run, but my feet are rooted to the floor. The whispers grow louder, sharper, scraping at the inside of my skull. They're not words I know, but I understand the intent. A hunger, ancient and endless, awakened by something as small as a coin in my pocket. I force myself to breathe, to think. I need to get out. I need to lock the door and drive away and never come back. But the shape in the reflection shifts, closer now, and I feel a cold breath on my neck, though there's no one there. My hand brushes the coin again, and the whispers spike, a cacophony of rage and desperation. I yank my hand back, stumbling toward the door, my keys jangling in my trembling fingers. The glass rattles as I fumble with the lock, and in the reflection, I see it fully now, limbs too long, a face that isn't a face, just a void with something glinting where eyes should be. It doesn't move, but it's closer, always closer, as if space itself is folding around it. I get the door open, the cold night air hitting me like a slap. I don't look back as I sprint to my car, the whispers chasing me, echoing in the empty lot. I slam the door shut, lock it, and peel out onto the road, the laundromat shrinking in my rearview mirror. My heart doesn't slow until I'm miles away. The coin's still on the counter where I left it, or at least, I hope it is. I don't know if it matters. I felt that presence latch onto me, like a shadow I can't shake, tied to me by a single, thoughtless act. When I get home, I lock every door, draw every curtain, but the feeling doesn't leave. The air in my apartment is too still, too heavy, and I swear I hear that humming again, faint, from the other side of the walls. I don't sleep. I sit with the lights on, staring at nothing, wondering if I brought something back with me or if it was always waiting, biding its time until I stumbled into its path. I think about the coin, about the stories my grandmother told, about things that cling to the edges of the world, waiting for an invitation. I don't know if I'll go back to the laundromat tomorrow. I don't know if I have a choice. But I do know this. Whatever I felt, whatever I saw, it's not done with me. And somewhere, in the dark stretch of road and woods beyond, it's still watching, still whispering, waiting for the next careless hand to pick up what should have stayed lost.